Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Kaba Ilco number 7180DC-29 is what this is. What this is a dummy cylinder, is what it is. Let's take it out of the box and take a look at it. 7180 DC dummy cylinder. 29 finish, which means black. Okay, this is a piece of solid brass, not solid. This has a scalp plate on it. That is the finished component, but this is a solid bar. Well, you know, I don't know if it's solid. It might be drilled on the inside underneath here like a cylinder would be. I suspect that it actually may be, but I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's a dummy cylinder. And where would you use a dummy cylinder? Well, when you need to blank off either a hole or remove a cylinder for a dummy cylinder. Common requirements for a dummy cylinder would be when you have a aluminum storefront door and the inspector comes by and sees that you have a key on the inside or maybe a thumb turn on the inside. Very likely that neither of those are compliant with code for emergency egress, and the inspector doesn't force you to change the hardware into emergency egress compliant like an exit device, but they'll say put a dummy cylinder on, and that'll be just fine. Okay, so you can never lock it from the inside. That may or may not work for the application. Another reason is that someone, they drilled a hole for a cylinder where it didn't belong. Get a new door, dummy cylinder. Dummy cylinder. When you're removing a cylinder, maybe not for a code requirement, but you're removing a cylinder because you don't want key control over something. You might have an exit device trim and it's a classroom. You can set it always locked, you can set it always unlocked, but it's an interior door and a hallway and there's never a reason to lock that. And someone might be coming in with the key and thinking that it's locked and trying to unlock it, but really locking it, you know, whatever the case might be. Dummy cylinder. Cylinders, mortise cylinders, and this is a mortise cylinder, they are measured from the underside of the head to the back of the cam, and that's the size. Well, this is 1 1/8 inch, except this doesn't have a cam, so therefore it's going to be a little short on 1 1/8 inch. So about 1 1/16, as you can say, 1 1/32 length. This is a 1 5/32 diameter. There are 32 threads per inch. That is an industry standard for a mortise cylinder going back, I don't know how long ago this thread type was set as a standard, but I've got catalogs from the second half of the 19th century that appear to take a standard thread style mortise cylinder. It's probably likely that Linus Yale Jr., who invented who patented the modern pin tumbler cylinder in about 1849 or so, when he first had a mortise cylinder, I would bet that it is this thread type, and that we have always stuck with this thread type, not only in the diameter for a standard mortise cylinder, but the diameter and the thread count. 32 ultra-fine threads per inch. Ultra-fine because very often what you're threading a cylinder to is quite thin, so you want lots of thread count inside of the wall thickness. Obviously, different diameters of cylinders are available. You know, there were 3/4 inch diameter mortise cylinder. They were called peanut cylinders. This would be the next size up. There is a jumbo cylinder by Corbin Russwin called the Master Ring. There's a mogul cylinder that's 2 inch by a variety of people. And then other cylinders that fit in there, but those are the 4 primary ones. But in terms of what we do all the time, this is a 1.15 inch diameter, 32 superfine threads per inch, dummy cylinder in black. Now, let's take a tour into the product catalog so that you can have an idea of what options are available from Kaba Ilco. Now, we can get to the manufacturer's catalog and show the different dummy cylinders that are available, different part numbers, and all they change by is the length of the cylinder. 1 1/8 is common, not as common as a 7160. If you're doing aluminum storefront, you want a shorter one. There's no reason to have to add trim rings. Even a 15/16 The 7150 is going to be typical. If you're doing mortise locks or maybe exit device trim, you'll need a longer cylinder to get that cash nut box ring or the threaded nut onto the back of the cylinder to hold it in. Kaba Ilco will do lots of different cylinder lengths, as you can see. It'll get us, from really short 3/4 inch all the way to 2 inch. I've taken Kaba Ilco material and I've converted it using parts from another manufacturer to make them very long, 2.5 inch, etc., so we can accommodate those requirements. If you were doing a cylinder with a key, lots of keyways to choose from right from Kaba Ilco, a couple dozen of them for sure. Also a link to the finishes, a good dozen different finishes they will make available. We're doing the 29 black aluminum in this option in this video. If you're doing a keyed cylinder, lots of tail pieces as well. What's nice about Kaba Ilco is they get into small format and large format material, probably in profile cylinders. The section that we're in now, they don't really have a picture style catalog, unfortunately, but they get into large format, small format cylinders by different folks. Probably my favorite piece of equipment from Kaba Ilco is this deadbolt that they have. Okay, the 4500 series deadbolt. And what I like about it is that it's very low, many things, but here they are in no particular order. Very low profile. They don't stand off from the face of the door very much at all. Half of an inch, let's say. Something in that range. That's the first thing. The second thing is it's modular. Whatever mortise cylinder you want to toss into here, you can toss into it. You've got a Sargent Kiso dimple key, you want to toss it into a deadbolt, here it is. You can make that happen. You just need to make sure you've got a compatible tailpiece from Sargent Kiso to do it. Or more realistically, let's say that you had Schlage Primus, a Sargent Degree, more common. Medico would be a great example of a security cylinder. You can have a double cylinder or a single cylinder. You can do a single cylinder with a mortise thumb turn on the inside. This captive thumb turn is nice because with a special tool you will be able to remove that key if you wanted to prevent someone from going out. And not that you would do that, but in certain applications it would be permissible to have a key on the inside because now your toddler is not 28 inches tall. Now the toddler's 36 inches tall and no longer a toddler and can now easily reach the deadbolt. Maybe take a walk outside if you've not realized it. So you might want to lock that down. Dummies as well. I don't know where you would use a dummy on a deadbolt. Interchangeable core housings, ADA compliant thumb turn. That's all really cool. The fact that it's modular is really cool and low profile. But the ace up my sleeve with Kaba is they will do a 2 3/4 back set, they'll do a 2 3/8 back set, and then they'll do a 2-inch back set. I had a customer call me once upon a time and say that he had a pair of 2080 French doors. They may have been 10 light or 5 light, realistically. Yeah, no, it would be 10 light in that door. And he needed a deadbolt. And he had 4-inch styles. And I said, I've got the perfect answer for you. A 2-inch back set, good-looking, low-profile deadbolt, centered right in the style of the door. And what I mean by that is a pair of 2080 doors. Okay, you get the concept there. Got a pair of doors. 10 light. 4-inch. And he was able to put that right in the center, and it looked really beautiful. Not askew, because another 3/8 of an inch, I think would have put him really close to that hanging into the sticking here. But the fact of the matter is it looked completely balanced on the door. And that's what I love the most about this Kaba Ilco material. And it's really easy to install. The only thing that I don't love is you have to have a minimum hole diameter of 1 7/8 to install it. I would really love if that would go down to 1.5 inch. But that hub that's back here that holds the latch bolt and you thread the cylinders to has a certain diameter that we can't get around. Okay, let's wrap up this video. Now, in conclusion on the 7180 dummy cylinder, dummy mortise cylinder from Kaba Ilco. They're used when you need to, you're not designing dummy cylinders into the mix initially. You could very likely order, maybe someday down the road they're going to add key control to something. You might have a building so epic that the construction phase is 18 months. There might be 3 phases. And you know that you're going to do keyed cylinders on exit devices. You could set them up to be always passage during construction and not even put the permanent cylinders on site. You could buy relatively inexpensive dummy cylinders for that purpose, I suppose. Why this client is purchasing 6 of these, it very likely could be an aluminum storefront, black aluminum storefront, and they were told, get rid of those cylinders on the inside. Either that or get exit devices that are a few $100s each, or worse. If you have any questions on the Kaba Ilco 7180DC in a 29 finish or any other Kaba Ilco product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you very much.